Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Alright, so trackies, right now I'm laughing at myself because I've been testing out this new setting and this blur is blurring me to, into obscurity. I don't really think I like it. This is the lowest setting actually. And for it to be blurring me this much, my God, it looks like you can't even see my facial features, how much it's blurring me. But with that said, I think I'm going to turn it off for the next recording because, yeah, this is not it, right? Now, with that said, track is for this particular athlete over the past weekend, a much better performance than her first 60 meters outdoors this season, and I'm talking about Serena Cole. Much better performance from her, and I'm not just only talking about time wise, but just execution. Seeing her run actually the whole race and not necessarily stop at any particular point in the race, and I think she has had a tendency to do this over her junior years as a athlete performing at the champs level or the high school level, right? So I'm really happy this week seeing her come out and run her race and actually clock a good time as well. So and it shows you that she's actually not that far off from what the twins are actually doing, which is a good thing. And I did point out in my first video, even though I didn't touch it too much on her because I didn't want to. You know what I mean? I think she was getting a lot of negative feedback and I didn't like it. And I especially saw her comment on her social media about protecting her mental space. And I didn't want to join, anything that could potentially affect our athletes, especially the young ones. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not for that. So I chose not to really comment on her performance that much. I only said, hey, you know what I mean? I just don't want to see her dropping behind the twins too much. So this week, now that she's come out and ran a much better race, I'm really happy seeing that she's executed a much better race this time around. So Serena Cole opened her season over the 60 meters running 7.69 seconds. In that race, though, as I said, a lot of negative feedback was directed towards her, and it has something to do with her weight. Now, I'm not sure if this weight has anything to do with her being loaded, or if it's a case where she's not being disciplined enough. Because she's still young. You know what I mean? Not every young person has a camera on them recording their every move. For most young people, they can make their mistakes and nobody knows. You know what I mean? So with that said, I'm not sure what the weight or what's causing this whole weight issue, but I didn't really want to comment on it because I didn't like the narrative that was being pushed. I remember there was one particular comment in my comment section that I didn't really like where they were talking about, likening her weight now to the Clayton twins. And I'm like, that's interesting. The last time I checked, the Clayton twins came out recently talking about, the weight issues that they struggled with in their first year of being a professional athlete and how indisciplined they were in terms of their food intake and how disciplined they are now in their second year. And I thought, last time I checked, isn't Serena Cole in her first year? You know what I mean? So if we were giving the twins the grace, you know what I mean, to make those mistakes because they're still young, this lifestyle is new to them as well. You know what I mean? Managing themselves as a professional athlete, that must be tough, knowing that there's so many lovely things in the world that you want to throw it down your throat and knowing that you have to be disciplined enough to not do it, right? As I said, older people, sorry, I'm not old, older people struggle with that, right? So with that said, track is I'm seeing Serena Cole come out and hearing those thoughts that, hey, she's been too indisciplined. I'm like, let's give her grace as well. You know what I mean? Let's give her grace, to develop, right, to grow into the sport, to grow into being a professional athlete, right? Let's not just thrust her in and expect snap it's going to work just like that, because it hasn't worked for many in their first year, and it probably won't work for many in their first year going forward, and she'll be no different, right? So I definitely believe that she needs to be given some grace in that aspect, and hopefully by the next year come, we will see a much better or a slimmer and trimmer version of Serena Cole. Now we talked about Stephen Francis saying that, hey, you don't transition immediately, or he's not going to be transitioning these athletes immediately. You know what I mean? Don't expect to see anything super out of them the first year in their professional setup. And it's the same thing for Serena Cole. She's right now in her first year of this professional setup. So one, the training is a whole kettle of fish that is different. And we heard even Tia talking about the fact that she herself was not able to manage the training. Now she's able to manage the training much better. So it's going to take a while for Serena to get used to this new level of training and be able to manage it. She's not going to be able to manage it just off the gun, just like that, just off the rip. So yeah, I didn't like that comment, and I chose not to talk about the whole Serena thing because I'm like, look here, I'm not going to be adding to any kind of negativity or negative feedback that is being thrusted in her direction. But I love, love, love seeing her performance this week. One, the time, 7.35 seconds. I'm like, okay, good. We're right around. We're not getting left behind. That was my first thought. I'm like, great. We're not getting left behind. That's one. And two, I like the fact that I didn't see her slow down in this race. Now, I talked about it earlier in the video. Serena Cole, in my opinion, has had a tendency over the years, and that's the only thing I will really touch on when I talk about her execution or how the person that she is, what I believe sometimes, you know what I mean, has a tendency to really slow down if she thinks she's not going to perform as good as she wants to perform. So I say she's up against, a stacked race or a stacked field, and everybody is probably going to be outgunning her in this race. You will see her have a tendency to slow down in the race. That is something that I've always taken issue with, and she's not the only one I've seen do it, right? But that's what I've taken issue with. So that was my thing the first week when she came out. I was like, okay, you know what? Regardless of what your placing is going to be, regardless of what your time is going to be, I love to see when athletes run their full race. You know what I mean? Don't be stopping midway through just because you're behind. Give your full effort. That is what you have. You know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong with that. Just give it. So, and if she didn't give up also, she would have also run a much better time than she did, the first goal. So this time around, much better execution, finishing third behind Sasha Lee Forbes. Really, really, really good execution from her. Clearly, there's a lot more work in store for Serena Cole. This is her first year. So give her the grace, as far as I'm concerned, required to get to that next level. Trackies, we're giving everybody grace, give her grace as well. And please remember, Trackies, these athletes are young. They're on social media. I don't use, or I don't, I didn't grow up with social media. So I don't look at it the same way these young people look at social media. These young people eat, sleep, and breathe social media. So all this negative feedback that you're throwing towards these young athletes that are very impressionable at this moment, I don't think it's fair. So yeah, hold back on some of those comments and definitely give them some grace going forward. And just hope that, they will be able to get to the level that they need to be at, and, be disciplined enough to take it to that next level, because let me tell you, you need to have that grit and grime to make it to the next level. It ain't easy. Anyway, track is, you now sound off in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. What did you make about the second round attempt by Serena Cole? Did you think the performance was much better than it was the first week? And no, I don't want to hear anybody commenting in the comment section talking about, how she's progressing right now. She is progressing, and that is good. You know what I mean? That is good. We don't need to make any, random comparisons with persons that have been in the professional league for a while now, and she's just getting, well, I don't want to say a while now, but for longer than she has, right? And she's just getting to it. Don't make those comparisons. Just give her the time, as I said. But anyway, sound off and let me know your thoughts. Like the video, of course, and subscribe. I will catch you in the next one. Bye.